A battle for survival, a crowd roaring like thunder, and two teams refusing to blink. Game 6 was more than just a basketball game, it was war. The New York Knicks and Indiana Pacers came into this one with their backs against the wall, the pressure hanging heavy like fog in Madison Square Garden. This wasn't just about points on the board. This was legacy, pride, and the fight to stay alive. From the opening tip, it was physical, fast, and fierce. Neither side flinched, and what unfolded was nothing short of a basketball thriller. First quarter showdown. Tension from the tip. The energy was electric from the jump, and it didn't take long for both teams to show they came ready for war. The Knicks started off aggressive, with Jalen Brunson attacking the lane early, finding Mitchell Robinson with a high-flying alley-oop that brought the Garden to its feet. Robinson, once again starting in the middle, made his presence felt, blocking, rebounding, and finishing at the rim. But the Pacers were unfazed. Tyrese Haliburton, cool under pressure, orchestrated the offense with sharp passes and calm execution, threading a perfect assist to Pascal Siakam, who bullied his way to the basket for the finish. Indiana wasn't backing down. Siakam, who's been red hot in this series, continued to deliver. He drilled a quick mid-range jumper, then followed it up with a powerful drive, getting through a crowd and finishing through contact. The Pacers put on the pressure defensively too. Andrew Nembhard was in Brunson's face, playing full court, forcing the Knicks star to fight for every inch. The turnovers started piling up for New York, and Indiana capitalized. Obi Toppin ran the floor like a bullet and scored in transition off a Haliburton dime. But the Knicks answered. OG Anunoby, back in rhythm, knocked down a tough corner 3 after a scramble play. Then it was Josh Hart diving into the lane, absorbing the contact and laying it in. The Knicks kept crashing the offensive glass. Robinson, relentless, gave the team second and third chances. He grabbed back-to-back offensive rebounds, finally kicking it out to Donte DiVincenzo for a deep 3. Bang! The Knicks bench exploded. Turnovers became a problem for Indiana late in the quarter. A lazy cross-court pass was picked off by Miles McBride, who darted the other way and laid it in with ease. Suddenly, New York had the lead back and the tempo shifted. But before the horn, Haliburton reminded everyone who's running the show. He slipped past a screen, pulled up, and hit a deep 3 right at the buzzer. Tie game. What a quarter. It ended 28-28, but the tone was clear. This wasn't going to be a blowout. Every bucket was earned. Every possession mattered. The defense was suffocating. The pace was high, and the stars were already shining. Siakam had 9, Haliburton with 7 assists, and Brunson grinding with 6 early points. This was only the beginning. The war was far from over. Fire intensifies. Momentum swings. The second quarter started with both teams tightening the screws on defense. No space, no time. Just pure pressure. Knicks went with a more physical lineup, bringing in Isaiah Hartenstein to bang bodies inside. Right away, he made an impact. He pulled down a gritty rebound in traffic, got fouled on the putback, and knocked down both free throws. It was tough, it was bruising, and it sent a message. New York wasn't going anywhere, but Indiana came storming right back. TJ McConnell entered the game like a spark plug. The moment he touched the floor, the energy shifted. He stripped DiVincenzo clean at half court and turned it into a fast break layup. Next possession, same result, steal, sprint, score. McConnell was everywhere, and the Pacers rode that wave. Haliburton came back in and immediately fed the hot hand. Nesmith in the corner. Splash. A 3. Indiana was rolling now, forcing. All-day timeout from Tom Thibodeau. Out of the break, the Knicks leaned on their star. Brunson went to work. He broke down Nembhard off the dribble, floated in a soft jumper over Turner, then came back the next play and drilled a step-back 3. Crowy Wars erupted. The Knicks were clawing back, and Brunson was leading the charge. He picked up his pace, pushing the tempo, finding Hart on a slick baseline cut for a 2-hand jam. But Siakam wasn't done. The Pacers forward turned up the heat. He spun past Anunoby, finished with a smooth Eurostep layup, and on the next, play hammered home a putback dunk that silenced the crowd. He was in full beast mode, already up to 17 points, doing it from all over. The Knicks tried doubling him, but it didn't matter. He passed out of it, found Haliburton for an open look. Bang. 3 more. New York refused to fold. They turned to defense. Bridges jumped the passing lane, picked Haliburton's pocket, and flushed a two-handed jam that rattled the rim. Next play, McBride dove to the floor, ripped the ball from Nesmith, and dished to Anunoby for the breakaway finish. Just like that, the Garden was alive again. Noise, energy, belief. Final minutes of the half were frantic, back and forth. Haliburton hit a cold-blooded pull-up 3, but Brunson answered with a twisting drive into the paint for 2. Nesmith knocked down another corner 3, this time off a double screen, and on the other end, Hartenstein delivered a beautiful no-look dime to Anunoby under the rim. He slammed it home, flexed, and roared to the crowd. Both teams trading haymakers. Then it happened. Closing seconds. Knicks with the ball, shot clock winding down. Brunson, trapped near the half-court line, slipped a pass to Hart, who flipped it behind his back to DiVincenzo. One dribble, a deep 3 at the buzzer. Got it! Crowd lost its mind. At halftime, it was 56-54. Knicks up by just 2, but both. Squads playing with everything they had. Siakam with 21, Brunson at 17, Haliburton stacking up assists. The tension? Off the charts. 1 half down, 1 to go. And nobody, absolutely nobody, was blinking. Third quarter, punch, counter-punch, and a game on edge. The second half tipped off with the kind of urgency that said everything was on the line. Neither team took a breath. The crowd was already standing, roaring, and the players fed off that energy. Brunson wasted no time. First possession, he took the screen, attacked the paint, and dropped in a floater through contact. The Knicks grabbed an early spark, but it was short-lived. Indiana responded immediately. Haliburton came off a curl, found Turner rolling to the rim, and Turner powered it home with a 2-hand slam over Hartenstein. Then came the defense. The Pacers turned up the pressure, trapping, switching, and forcing the Knicks into difficult looks. Siakam got a hand on a lazy pass, stole it, ran the floor, and jammed it down with one hand. It was a statement. Indiana meant business. The Knicks were rattled for a moment, and Anunoby missed a contested 3. Hart turned it over, trying to thread a pass through traffic, and Indiana took advantage. Nembhard pulled up for a smooth, mid-range jumper, and then Haliburton delivered again, stepping back for a high-arching 3 that dropped in like a dagger. Pacers went on a 9-0 run, flipping the lead and forcing another Knicks timeout. But if there's one thing this Knicks team has shown all series, it's toughness. Out of the break, Brunson took matters into his own hands. He slowed things down, ran the offense, and dissected the Pacers' defense one move at a time. First, he hit a fading jumper from the elbow. Then he came back, drove left, drew the help, and dished a beauty to Robinson, who finished with a soft touch. The Knicks were breathing again. And then, Donte DiVincenzo lit a fire. The sharpshooter hit back-to-back 3s. The second off a broken play, where he grabbed the loose ball and fired from deep with the shot clock ticking down. Net. The crowd exploded. The Knicks bench stood up, and the game flipped again. It was chaos. Controlled chaos. Both teams throwing punches, refusing to fall. Siakam kept Indiana steady. He continued to bully his way to the basket, backing down defenders and hitting that smooth turnaround jumper. The Knicks tried sending help, but he read it perfectly, kicking it to Nesmith for another corner 3. Indiana just kept finding ways to score, but the Knicks' hustle plays kept them alive. Hart soared in for an offensive rebound, fought off 2 Pacers, and flipped it back in midair to Brunson. He pump-faked, stepped to his right, and drilled a 3. Tie game again. Bridges followed with a monster block on McConnell, then sprinted the floor and hammered down a one-hand tomahawk. Dunk that nearly took the roof off the Garden. End of the third. Score? Dead even. 84-84. You couldn't script it better. Fans on their feet, sweat pouring. Siakam up to 28, Brunson at 26. Halliburton still the quiet killer, controlling pace, creating openings, always dangerous. It wasn't just basketball anymore. It was survival. 1 quarter left, one chance to force Game 7 or end the season. And absolutely no one was backing down. The final 12 minutes, everything on the line. The tension inside the Garden? Unbelievable. Every possession now felt like a coin flip between heartbreak and glory. Fans were on their feet, eyes locked, voices rising with every bounce of the ball. The Pacers struck first Halliburton, cool and calm, used a double screen to get free, and nailed a 3 from the top. Silence for a moment, but just a moment. Brunson answered with a drive spinning, faking, stepping through contact. Bucket. And one? The crowd roared like thunder. The Knicks refused to let go. Robinson came up huge again, swatting a floater from McConnell, diving to the floor, and securing the loose ball. The hustle was unreal. Bridges rewarded that effort, drilling a corner 3 off the extra pass. Knicks up 2. But Indiana had an answer for everything. Siakam backed down hot, turned, and kissed it high off the glass for 2 more. Then it was Nembhard fighting through a screen, elevating over McBride, and sinking a mid-range jumper. The Pacers retook the lead, and Thibodeau barked instructions from the sideline as the pressure built even higher. With under 8 minutes to go, chaos unfolded. Hartenstein set a brutal screen, freeing DiVincenzo, who launched and hit from deep. The Garden shook. Next possession, steal by Anunoby, who took it coast to coast and threw down a rim-rattling slam that brought every fan to their feet. Timeout Indiana. Knicks on a 7-0 run. Momentum shifting hard. Out of the break, Halliburton responded like a star. He pulled up for another cold-blooded 3, his 5th of the game, and tied it again. Then he came back the next trip and lobbed. A beauty to Turner, who caught it mid-air and flushed it down in traffic. The Pacers weren't going anywhere. With 5 minutes left, it was back to a 1-possession game. Brunson took over again, driving into traffic, spinning, fading, and hitting the soft jumper. He followed it by drawing contact on the next trip and knocking down both free throws. Knicks up by 4. But Siakam unstoppable all night came roaring back. He drove past Bridges, absorbed the hit from Hartenstein, and still finished. Count it. Free throw. Good. 1-point game. Final 3 minutes. The intensity? Beyond anything seen all series. Halliburton ran the high pick and roll, drew 2 defenders, kicked to Nesmith in the corner. Splash. Indiana up 2. Next play, Hart crashes the offensive glass again, tips it to himself, keeps it alive, and kicks it to DiVincenzo. Bang! 3. Knicks retake the lead. Crowd losing its mind. Then came the moment under 90 seconds left. Tie game. Brunson with the ball, clock winding down. He isolates, step back, fires. Got it. Jalen Brunson delivers again. Knicks up 2. Indiana races back. Halliburton gets a clean look, fires a deep 3. Off. Rebound Robinson. Chaos. The Knicks bench screaming, the crowd thunderous. They push it to Anunoby, who gets fouled hard at the rim. 2 free throws. Nails both. He Knicks by 4. Final possession for the Pacers. Down 4, clock running. Halliburton swings it to Siakam. He fires a 3. Off the mark. Long rebound. Game over. Final score, Knicks 107, Pacers 103. The Garden explodes. Brunson finishes with 36. Siakam leaves it all on the floor with 32. Halliburton's brilliance not enough to stop New York from forcing Game 7. What a battle. What a night. This wasn't just a win, it was survival. Knicks lived to fight another day.